So this one was a little bit different for me. Stayed away from doing another beat or breakdown or anything, and instead I was inspired by a video I saw on YouTube. So Christian Henson is someone that I follow. Even though I'm not a film composer, I still find what he says and his principles really interesting. And Andrew Huang, they recently both were on one of Andrew's videos. 4 composers composed the same title sequence. Now, I'm not by any means a media composer. I think I did one module of it in my first year at uni. If I can find the clip, I'll put it on screen now. Pretty shocking. But I wanted to give it another go just to see how I fare now. A lot more experience in production, sound design and things. So yesterday I went through, I ripped the video, took the audio off, and I made my own score to it, and we're going to go through it now. Should be interesting to see what I can come up with as a more sort of hip-hop type producer looking at film composing. And yeah, big shout out to Andrew for the idea of the video, and Christian for doing a great score as well. 2 people that I follow a lot and respect a lot as well. I'm going to hop on the computer now and see what we can do. Here we are in the session for this project. I took a lot of stuff from Christian Henson's videos actually, a lot of his ideas of how to compose. So I started off, I watched through the clip, and I decided the sort of mood for each part, and I found a tempo. 124 seemed to work for me. Not to be on every cut or anything, but just to have that flow, and key moments where I wanted something to hit or change, I would be on a rough kind of beat, whether it was on the actual beat or on a subdivision of that. Everything started with Analog Lab. I was sort of trying out different sounds, different ideas, and I landed on a DX7 patch. I kind of went in my head, I was like, what's space, 80s, synths, DX7, sci-fi, everything, and I was like, kind of makes sense. And this moving 5th pitch, which was a 3rd one in after I chose the DX7, was just kind of perfect. Now, what I really liked about it is that you can see there's these 2 controls here, timbre and moving speed. Now, as you adjust these, I'm used to that being cut off with Analog Lab, but they've shifted it along, and the timbre is the first one. I think it's because it's the DX7. And just having that control makes it a really expressive sound. A little bit unpredictable, but I kind of learned by doing loads of passes of what I wanted. Then I went through the whole video. I've sort of deleted it now because I bounced it down and chopped it up, but I played these 3 notes, and I just played with the knobs and sort of felt the video and where I wanted everything to change. Trying to keep it very expressive and not stationary, just holding one pad. It kept changing. I then cut it up so that it just fit a little bit better, because there were some parts where I realised I hadn't quite hit the mark I wanted to hit or something, and I was able to chop it up. So that's the final version we have here. So that's, if we have just a listen to that on its own, you'll see that it's the main part of this whole score, really. So you can see as we transition between these 2 sections, I've got a change in vibe. It's then going to change again as we go into the dark. The space gets a bit more ethereal, and then we have our ending section. So after I had this sort of foundation, everything else was just an embellishment on top. So the first key part was with Labs. This gave me this kind of descending string sound. So this is from their Tape Orchestra collection on this one. Brass crinkle, and again, thanks to Christian, I used my 2 faders to control these 2 sections here, and I used my modern pitch wheel as well to give me this ambient sound. So just bending down in pitch, adding some tension. I then went about adding in all of my percussive elements, and also some samples from Splice. So these are sort of cinematic hits, NASA things. I'll put the sample packs up on the screen so you can see where they came from. But having this on top with these as well sort of started to build up the section. And as someone who's not a media composer, having access through Splice to sounds like those instantly steps you up from sounding like someone who's just playing synths and keys to someone who's making something that sounds a bit more cinematic. It could be a little bit tacky, you could say, but at the same time it's just a really nice easy tool I found that just stepped up straight away, having those big hits and some swooshes and stuff. It helped a lot. Probably a bit of a cheaty way out of it, but it's my first time, so I liked having it and it was fun to play with. We then had our first transition using the same moving fifths patch and just really cranking up that timbre wheel. Little transition sound. We then go into our B section where this was what I really added in. So the same chords, but we added in some extra low end. This came from a Labs preset. I can't remember which one it was, but it's quite bassy. I put some distortion and everything on there on this bus version. So you've got the main sound on its own. And then I put on top in this aux track a tremolo, which is automated to get faster. Sounds kind of like a jet plane, fighter plane sound almost, but that underneath, again, it's just all tension instruments is what I was trying to go for, really. We then transitioned to Space, where I chilled out a little bit, and I brought in this chorus choir from Labs. And again, using my faders, trying to make it sort of breathe in, kind of. But then after this section, really, not much else happens. I kind of tried to keep it on that vibe. It's sort of built up here, chilled out because we're in space. I didn't really want it to keep building up and up and up. I kind of wanted to break the tension here. And then we have our final section where we see Andrew getting into his space gear. And really, all that's on this is we just go to just the chords and like one hit here. And we end with a cut off and that sort of wobbly string note coming out of it, and that's it. Again, I've seen a lot of title sequences for Netflix shows during lockdown recently because I've just been watching so much, but having that exit seems to be the sort of what's a bit on trend at the minute, I guess. I'm really happy with how it turned out as a final piece, and I'm definitely going to be attempting a few more of these in the future. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed coming through this with me. I'm going to do, like I say, do some more. So if anyone's got any suggestions of clips that I could try, I'm going to just upload them, maybe break them down as well. Or if anyone's just got any tips in general for doing more of this kind of work, it would be really grateful. And I'm just going to play you out with the final trailer. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.
Telemetry and launch conditions.